Good evening and welcome to none other than Glencoe. Yeah, most of you will have seen videos and definitely will have seen photographs of Glencoe before. So what you're going to see as a focal point might not be that new, but hopefully, fingers crossed, the location we're going to this evening might be. But what the point of my vlog is, well, the premise of my vlog this evening is how to become a better landscape photographer. That age-old buzzword and subject and thumbnail that you see all over YouTube. And honestly, I don't think I'm gonna say anything different. So if you have tuned onto this to hear something completely different and completely radical, this might not be the video for you. It might not be. So hopefully you'll stay tuned and stick around, and hopefully I can, show you my take on this age-old subject. But if not, Godspeed and good luck with your photography adventure. If you have decided to stay though, yeah. So throughout the evening, I'm going to give a few different points and tips on how to improve your landscape photography. But first of all, check this location out. Pretty epic, right? And funnily enough, the shot that you've just seen is where we are going to start this evening. And my first top tip, most importantly, is, drum roll please, light. Light is everything. There is not one thing that can bring a scene to life better than light. But as you can probably tell, I don't have a lot of that. So the second best thing to improve your landscape photography, if I can undo this, texture. And I am hoping this scene I have in front of me right now is so full of texture and interest that it can overcome the fact I have no light. And that's the plan, is to photograph texture. And how, you ask? How do I photograph texture? First of all, I try and find a scene that is compelling. A scene that captures your eye, captures your imagination, pulls you in, makes you wish that you were there yourself. And I'm hoping that this is that scene. On my camera, I have got the 15-30 Tamron G2 f2.8. Okay, so I've got my scene all set up, and like I said, I've got texture for days in this shot. And I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm not going to do any focus stacking. I'm not going to do any exposure blending with this scene. I'm going to rely on one thing and one thing only, and that is the histogram. I'm going to push them, hit them highlights as far as I can push them without making them blow out. And that means that I gather as much information between the highlights and them shadows in that dynamic range. I should capture enough information to be able to dodge and burn and create some interesting effects the midges are coming. Oh, right, so I've got the scene all set up and I'm just going to capture it. So f11, woo, ISO 64, and that is 1/5 of a second. God, them midges are bad. I have got repellent this time though. And this is the scene I have here. And I've got this river in the bottom of the scene, snaking up into the two sisters, the Three Sisters. Third one's over here. Can't really get that in my shot, but it's compelling. I've got texture in them rocks. I've got shadows, I've got highlights. I'll be able to blend and dodge and burn. On the side of the mountains, it would be nice if there was a big patch of light getting cast across it. There really would. In the sky, it's not flat. There's texture. So with a bit of dodging and burning, I can bring it to life. All in all, a good image, a decent image. Not a showstopper, but also not the ugly sister. Fingers crossed. Obviously, all I've done is capture it. But that is the first one captured, which is normally the hardest part, which leads me on to my next bit of advice. And this is probably the biggest one of them all. Get out with your camera. The conditions, overcast. I knew there was going to be lots of midge. There's wind waving the trees around. But yet, if I hadn't come out, I would never have found a shot. So, most importantly, always leave the house. My next top tip is plain and simple yet again. Don't just get trapped at the tourist spot. Up here, at the top of the hill, that is where everyone stops and captures an image. And they do. They all line up. They line up side by side and capture the same image. Which is a shame. Because what? 300 meters up the way is this, where I've only seen a few shots captured here. And when you get to these locations, don't just get the obvious shot. Walk out onto the edge of the rocks, see what else is around, because you can guarantee there's always something golden. Maybe not here. But on the other side of the river, bueno. But for this place, I think it wasn't worth the climb down. But I didn't know that. So I thought I'd come and have a look. Thought I'd come and have a look anyway. So I think for this little beauty that I've found, I'm going to stick with the 15 to 30 mil. I probably could go in tighter, but I don't need to. And everything that's around the outside isn't taken away from that initial shot. So with this shot, my top tip to help improve your landscape photography is to choose what should be in and what should be out, what's adding to the scene and taken away from the scene. Sometimes in photography, it's not just about capturing everything. So here is a prime example. What I'm capturing is one of the Three Sisters. In the foreground, I've got a beautiful bit of texture. Because I've got no light, I've got that texture. On either side of the sister, I have got a tree, which is framing the scene and helping keep you in that picture. Nothing is added that's wasted. Everything that's in the scene should be in the scene. And they are swarming hard, but not eating, which is good. Okay, so the second of the Three Sisters, it's not the focal point. It is in the scene, but it's not the focal point. It is all about the relationship between the water and the middle sister. What I have is I've got a rock down in the bottom of the scene, and that rock is acting like an anchor. And what I mean by that is it's catching your eye and drawing you in to the finished result. But there is one more shot that I must capture here. There isn't going to be colour in the sky. It is already dramatic. So I don't think I'm going to stick around for sunset. Anything could happen, but I think this is pretty much it. But we came out, and now I've got two shots. Again, not competition standards. They're not going to blow anyone's minds. They probably won't make it to the portfolio level. But the nice solid images and nothing else other than I've gained experience. So let's head down to the next location. But the most important thing is we came out, and by coming out we've tried new things. I might not have seen this shot, I might not have been concentrating on texture the same way as I am right now. But time to head down and get that final shot, and you're gonna like this one. I don't know how big it's gonna be, but if it's as big as it was last time I was here, it's gonna be big. And there's a lot more water this time. A lot more water. But this is a location that I'm surprised more photographers don't visit. Tell you what, I'm going to put my stuff away. I got one wet foot, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I'd prefer not to have one wet foot, but if you're going to make it across the river without falling in, and you only manage to escape with one wet foot, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. Look at this. I have photographed in some difficult conditions. Wind, rain, hailstorm, lightning, on my snowboard. But the midge, that's a different thing altogether. This shot deserves a lot more attention than what I'm giving to it. And that is purely because of the midge. But I'm doing the same thing as I've done already. I'm paying attention to my histogram, and oh my God, there are millions. Right, I've captured that shot. It's not going to win any competitions, but I can't stay there any longer. I'm actually swallowing them. But there's a horrible climb out to go, so I must put that away. God almighty, is this what every single landscape photography trip is going to turn into? You've just been like surrounded by little buggers that want to eat me, and it's such a shame because I kind of want to capture that too, but I can't hack it. I feel like it's going to be my new subject, ladies and gentlemen. Whinging about the midge. Now, I really wanted to get a shot of that tree, but trying to cross this river at the moment is a bad idea. But here's one I captured last time I was here. A lot more light that day, but I had no contrast in the clouds, so then I had to choose other things to help make them images pop and stand out, which can also be very difficult. But I think that is going to be all from this week's video. I hope my tips and points have been useful. The one that I would listen to the most if I was you was to get out, head out, go out and shoot lots. That is the thing that will, the single most thing that will improve your landscape photography, and that is by capturing loads, and I mean lots, of images that you're proud of, but they're not quite what you want to capture. And I still quite often go out and get images where I'm like, oh, you know, it could be, I wish it was, why isn't it? But you can't always get the bangers, and you have to capture lots of bad images before you get them bangers. Overcast skies, look for texture. Midges, get out of there. Don't even battle with them. They are horrendous, horrible little buggers that will eat you alive. Eat you alive. But for tonight, that is going to be all from me. This location is epic. Absolutely epic, and I cannot wait to come back here in autumn. Hopefully with a bit of light too. But have a lovely week. Peace out, peeps. Bye.